Hello students, today we are going to start the next chapter from supplementary reader, that is Footprints Without Feet. Chapter number 8, The Hack Driver. It's written by Sinclair Lewis. As I told you in previous Google class meet about the summary. So today we are going to read in detail about the chapter. Let's begin. After graduating with honors, I became a junior assistant clerk in magnificent law firm. I was sent not to prepare legal briefs, but to serve summons like a cheap private detective. I had to go to dirty and shadowy corners of the city to seek my victims. Some of the larger and more self confident ones even beat me up. I hated this unpleasant work, and the side of the city life it revealed to me. I even considered fleeing to my hometown, where I could have been a real lawyer right away without going through this unpleasant training period. So, here the author is describing his personal experience when he was working as a junior assistant clerk in a magnificent, it was a well reputed law firm where he was doing the practice. And there was, because he was a clerk, so no legal practice he was doing, but his actual hobby was his actual thing, the in the life the motto was to become a lawyer, but because of any reasons he could not. So what was the work given to him? Not the legal practices. He was sent to serve summons. Summons are sent to those people and ordered by the court before it is sent to the people, so that they appear in the court to give any proof regarding the case. And so this clerk was given the job of giving only summons to the people, and he was not satisfied with the job. Like a cheap private detective, he felt this job like a cheap private detective job. I had to go to dirty shadowy corners. And why he didn't like? Because he has to go to dirty places, he to any corner of the city, and there he have to search out his victims are the people to whom he has to give summons. So he has to search those people to every corner of the city, and that was most embarrassing situation for him. Some of larger and more self confident ones even beat me up, and a number of times, because people are afraid of taking summons, people are afraid of appearing in the courts. So what do? The people who come to give them summon, most of the times they are beaten up. So same happened with this clerk also. And so that's why he hated this unpleasant work and the sight of the city. It revealed to me I even consider fleeing off my hometown. A number of time what comes came to in his mind, fleeing is running away. Number of times he thought that he should leave this job and he should go back to his hometown, where he can practice as a real lawyer. He will be practicing the law, and he will leave this place. A number of time he thought about that, but he did not have courage to leave the job and go from there. Then, so I rejoiced one day when they sent me. So a day came when something, a hope in his life came back. So when they sent, there is the authorities, the judges, the authorities, when they sent him 40 miles in the country to a town called New Maliam. So this clerk was sent to New Maliam, a place. It was a countryside village. So it was 40 miles away from the actual place where he was living. And what? Why? Same thing. He was sent for serving the summon to a man called Oliver Lutkins. So Oliver Lutkins was a man who was living on that. So he was to be called to the court, and for any proofs he has to give the evidence against any case. So he was sent, author was sent there, that you go and give summon to Oliver Lutkins. We need this man as a witness in a law case, and he had ignored all our letters. So this man was required in to solve one of the mystery of one case. So when the author got this opportunity, he was happy. Why he was happy? Let's see. What happiness came in his life. So next, then, when I got to New Maliam, my eager expectations of a sweet and simple country village were severely disappointed. So what he thought, because he was living in a city, so what he thought, that the village will be very beautiful, a sweet, simple village it would be, and beautiful village it will be, full of greenery and all. Maybe this sort of situations, this sort of environment he will get in the village. But it was opposite. What was opposite? Its streets were river of muds. Streets were dirty, with full of muds. Row wooden shops, either painted a sore brown or bare of any paint at all. So even walls were rough. There was no proper paint on the walls. The only agreeable sight about the place was a delivery man at the station. Only one thing what he felt there happy, it was when he reached to the station, he met with a delivery man, and that delivery man, he made him happy when he reached to the place. How will he made him happy? We'll read out in the next paragraph. He was about 40. This delivery man, he was about 40 years old, and a red faced man, cheerful man who always keeps smiling, thick about the middle, and his working clothes were dirty and well worn, and he had a friendly manner. You felt at once that he liked the people. So when author met this delivery man, he felt happy because whenever anyone met maybe with him, so his physical appearance, the smile on his face, and he's ready to do the work for them, so all impress the people. So same way, this man, this clerk, he was also motivated by when he reached there. I want then when he met this man, okay, felt. So when he met this man, he talked with him, and what he told him the actual reason. The author told him the actual reason that he was there to find a man whose name was Lutkins. He was Oliver Lutkins. So he told the delivery man that I want to search this man. Lutkins, this man, this delivery boy, he was surprised to hear the name. I saw him around here about an hour ago. Hard fellow to catch, though, always up to something or other. He's probably trying to start up a poker game in back of fridge shop. I will tell you, boy, is there any hurry about locating Lutkins? So when he heard the name, the delivery man, he heard the name Lutkins. He said, "Yes, I have seen this man some time ago, here only, and because he is fond of playing poker game. Poker is a card game, so he is fond of poker game, and I know he may be sitting in at the back of the fridge shop. I will take you there, and easily you will be able to get." So he assured the delivery man assured him that he will help him out. But now he's asking the reason that you are searching for Lutkins. What's the reason for that? So now author, who is very clear minded and clear heart man, he didn't have anything, any ill will or any cleverness in his mind. So he simple heartedly he told him, yes, he say, I want to catch the afternoon train back to the city. I was very important and secret about it. He's saying, yes, because I have to go back today afternoon also, and this is a secret. I have come here actually, and I will tell you what I have got a hack. First, he told that this is a secret, but later on he tells him why he's searching Lutkins. I will tell you what I have got a hack. I will get it out. We can drive around together and find Lutkins. I know most of the places he hangs out. So when he heard that Lutkins searching the Lutkins was very urgent, this delivery man, he hurriedly he said, okay, no problem, I will take you there to this man. I will help you out. You can go there easily. I will help you out to search him. So this way he assured him that he will be helping him. then Then he assured him, and then they started their journey. He was so open and friendly that I glowed with the warmth of his affection, and I knew, of course, that he wanted his the business. Now, author was impressed the way the delivery man was talking him, assuring him for the help. So he was very much impressed by the way of this man. I knew, of course, that he wanted the business. Of course, this man, this author, he knew very well that he was a business minded man. He is helping me because it's his business. He want money from me, and naturally, this is natural that he is helping. But his kindness was real. But because helping nature of him, that was real. The author felt that this was real, and there was no mixing of ill thoughts in his helping nature. I was glad, and the fair money would go to the good fellow. So the author said that I was very happy, glad, happy that the money rent I will money of for that ride on the carriage will go to this nice fellow who is helping me. I managed to bargain down to $2 an hour. So there was a bargain happen in between in them. He said for 1 hour he will be taking $2. So and then he brought from his house nearby a sort of large black box on wheels. He remarked, "Well, young man, here is the carriage." His wife his wide smile made me into an old friend. These villagers are so ready to help us, stranger. He had already made it his own task to find Oliver Lutkins for him. So this man, this author was very happy. He thought that the villagers are very nice. They are helping such a strange persons whom they did not know, because this is nature of the villagers. They help out even the strangers also. So he felt very impressed. He was impressed by this behavior of this man. So now they started searching for Oliver. In the way, what happened, he said, "I don't want to interfere, a young fellow, but my guess is that you want to collect some money from Lutkins. He never pays anybody a cent. He still owes me 50 cents on a poker game." Now, when they were going in the carriage, in the hack, because this is a hack driver, this is a horse carriage actually, used as a taxi, just like a taxi, it is used to take the passenger. So when he's sitting in the hack, so what he said, he tried to again he tried to get some secret, what was the secret behind why he was searching Lutkins. So he said that, "Why are you you may be searching Lutkins for the sake of money, because this man is such who takes money from everyone and never gives back. Even he has taken 50 cents from me also on a card game." So this way he started talking. He made an introduction so that he can get to know what was the reality, why the author was searching for him. "I was fool enough to play with him. He's not really, but it's hard to make him part with his money." He's saying that this man is a greedy man, and he's money, for the money's sake, he's so mad that he can do anything for the sake of money. If you try to collect from him those fancy clothes, he will be suspicious and get away from you. If you want, I will go to fridge and ask for him. You can keep out of the sight behind me. I loved him for this myself. I might never have found Lutkins. So what he said to author, he's saying it will be difficult if you like in such clothes, anyone will be suspected you that you are there for any reason, because he know this man who is making fool of all the people for the sake of money. He's saying, the delivery man says to him that, "Better you remain behind me. I will go to the shop, the fridge shop, where he plays game, poker game. So I will talk. Otherwise, what will happen if he sees you? He will be suspicious that this man in fancy clothes may be there for him and he wants money for him. So better you remain behind me, and I will be asking about him, about Lutkins." So author agreed. He thought this man is very nice man, helping man, very kind man. He want to help me. So he said, "Okay, I will be doing this." Then with the hack driver's help, I was sure of getting my man. So he was confided in this hack driver, because he thought he was a nice gentleman. He was trying to help him out. So blindly now he had a faith on this man, that this man will be helping. He was my man and he will be helping me in any situations. I took him into my confidence, told him that I wanted to serve summons on Lutkins, and because now he was taken into confidence, and every secret now he was revealing to this delivery man. He told everything, that why he was searching for Lutkins, to serve the summon. So that's why. And because he was called in the court, and the judge has asked me to serve the summon to Lutkins, so that the man refused to be witness. He was actually a witness in some case, and this man is not coming to court. So that's why I have come here. When his information would have quickly settled our case, the driver listened earnestly. At the end, now the driver honestly, sincerely, very sincerely, this hack driver, he was listening to the story, and he listened to all the things. At the end, he hit me on the shoulder and laughed. And when he listened the whole story, then he said, "Well, we'll give you brother Lutkins a little surprise. Let's start, driver." So then he made him again, he consoled him, he made him, took him into confidence that don't worry, I will take you, I will help you out to get Lutkins and you will be able to search him. So author was also confided in him. He said, okay, let's start. Then they started their journey, and during the journey, most folks around here call me Bill or Magnuson. In the during their journey, he told him about his name, that his name was Bill Magnuson, and his business. What was his business? Actually, it was the business name was William Magnuson Fancy Carting and Hacking. So it was his job. He said, "This is my company." All right, Bill, shall we proceed to Fritz? So author also believed that his name was Bill and he was having this fancy carting and hacking company. So he was happy with that. So he said, okay, let's start. Let's go to the Fritz. Yes, Lutkin is just as likely to be there as anywhere. Plays a lot of poker. He is good at deceiving people. So he tells about Lutkins in the way. He said, I know this man. He's a cheater. He is a deceiver. He always, in the play, he make fool to the people and cheat their money. Bill seemed to admire Lutkin's talent for dishonesty. So Bill seemed to admire that he was as if he was not criticizing Lutkins, but he was admiring that he was so clever that he could make fool to anybody. I felt if he had been a policeman, he would have caught Lutkins respectfully, jailed him with regret. And so author was feeling like that because he thought that the delivery man was a kind, helping nature, a generous man, a gentleman, and if he caught this if he was a policeman, if he caught this thief, so maybe he will not be very serious to punish him. So this way he was behaving. So when they proceeded further, Bill led me to Fritz. Have you seen Oliver Lutkin around today? So when they go to the shop, to the Fritz shop, so what did they ask there? Now Bill has already said to author, you remain behind me. So author is after his back, he is just hiding himself. So when he asked, have you seen Lutkins? Friend of his looking for him, said Bill cheerily. He's saying one friend is looking for him. Have you seen Mr. Lutkin? Fritz looked at him, hiding behind Bill. He hesitated and then admitted, yes, he was in here a little while ago. Guess he's gone over to Gustav to get a shave. Well, if he comes, tell him I'm looking for him. So now this man, delivery man, he went inside the Fritz shop and asked him about Lutkins. And Fritz looked towards Bill, who was hiding, looked towards the author who was hiding, and then he told him that yes, this man has come here, but he has gone from here actually, and maybe now he has gone to Gustav shop, a barber. He is a barber. He usually go there, so maybe he has gone there. He is not there. We drove to. Now they started their journey, and now when they were going again, they are searching for Lutkins to the next shop they are going. We drove to Gustav. Gustav's barber shop. Again, Bill went to first. I lingered. Lingered is waited at the door because the author was instructed by Bill that you have to wait outside. I will ask. So he waited outside and he asked not only to Swede but two customers. Swede is the Sweden. Sweden is that man who was the owner was a Sweden, and the customers also, it was only the delivery boy, the hack driver, who asked about Lutkins, and they told him was he there. He asked him was he there or not. So the Swede had not, the owner hadn't seen him. He said angrily, I haven't seen him and don't care to, but if you find him you can just dollar, he can just dollar 35 he owes me. One of the customer thought that he had seen Lutkins walking down. So now the owner said that he hasn't seen Lutkin actually, and he was very angry when he asked the name of the Lutkin. He said he has to give my $35. So if you are able to search, tell him that he's submit back my money also he gives back. And one of the customer who was sitting in the shop, he told that he has gone towards the hotel street next side. So when they got the hint that he has gone to the next street, so they started their journey again because he was not there. And in the way, again they are towards their next journey. As we climbed back into the hack, Bill concluded since Lutkins had exhausted is tired. His credit at Gustav, so he had probably gone to graze for shave. Now, because now they have gone from one place to another to the Gustav, now they go, he was not there. And when after Gustav they went to Gray's shop also in there, because he thought that maybe he has to give the money of Gustav. So normally he used to come there, but now because he has to pay the money, so he is not there. He has gone to Gray's shop. At Gray's barber shop, we missed Lutkins by only 5 minutes. There also they come to know that he was not there in Gray's shop, and 5 minutes have gone, and Lutkin has gone from there. So this man, this Oliver Lutkin, they were searching for him, but he was running in front of them only, maybe as if he knew that he is someone is searching for him. He had just left probably the pool room. At the pool room, it appeared that he had just bought a pack of cigarettes, gone out. We pursued him, and just behind me, pursued followed him, but never catching him for an hour till it was past 1 o'clock. I was hungry. So now one place to another place. After Grace, they went to the pool room also. They searched everywhere, but he was not. They were not able to catch hold of him. So now till now, author was tired. He said it's noon time. I'm tired, and he wants some food. He was feeling hungry. So, but he was enjoying Bill's company. Bill's rough country opinion about a neighbor that I had scarcely cared whether I found Lutkins or not. Author now till now he has forgotten what was his actual aim, why he had come to the this countryside, because he was enjoying the company of Bill, the hack driver, who was telling him each and everything about this countryside. So now this was the lunch time. Now, when they started their journey, I know the Bill's helpfulness to the young fellow from city was not entirely a matter of brotherly love. This thing he knew very much, that Bill was a professional and he wanted money only. It was not a brotherly love that he was being helped by him. But still, he hoped that this generous nature, the way he was helping him out, was a nice way. I was paying him for this time, and in the end, I paid him for 6 hours, including lunch hours, at what was then a very high price. But it was no more dishonest than I. So he's saying I paid him for 6 hours money, and $2 he had fixed with him. So for 6 hours he paid, and including the lunch hour only. So he's saying, and though I was also dishonest. He was not dishonest than me. Why he's saying like that? Because he was taking the money from company, and now he had hired this man. So naturally he was paying this money to this man. So the hoard. Now I charged the whole thing to the firm, but it would have been worth paying him myself to have his presence. His cheerful country wisdom was very refreshing to a country boy like myself, who was sick of the city. As we sat on the hilltop looking over the pastures and creek which slept among the trees, he talked of the New Millennium and painted a picture of words of all the people in it. So when they are sitting at a place, when they are going for the lunch, there everything the hack driver was telling him about New Millennium, this place. He told him all about the people and the place. He described everything to this man. He noticed then he noticed everything, but no matter how much he might laugh at people, he also understood and forgave this foolishness. He described the minister's wife who sang the loudest in the church. She was just so in the way he's telling about all the people who are living in the country, he told about the minister wife, and though author didn't take much interest in the people, but he was listening the way he was telling. So he was fond of listening the man's talk. So she was most in depth. He commented the boys who came from the college to fancy clothes. He told about the lawyer wife. She could never succeed in getting him to put on both a collar and tie on the same day. He made them alive, and on the day I came to the New Millennium better than I did the city, and to love it better. So this man is telling him everything about the lawyer, about the magistrate wife, and about the college boys. Everything he's talking about. Though he knew that he was a stranger, he might not be listening the things, but still he wanted to tell him all the things. He noticed everything, but no matter how much he might laugh at people, he also understood and forgave their foolishness. He described Minister Wife who sang in the loudest. We have done this slide. Let's come to the next. So Bill did not know about the colleges and cities, but he had traveled around a lot of country and had had a lot of jobs. From his adventures, he had brought back a philosophy of simplicity and laughter. So what he came to know about when he was talking with Bill, when the this horse carriage cart driver. So what he came to know, his philosophy. Philosophy was simplicity and laughter. An author loved this thing very much, that the simplicity, the way of living life is actually to live a simple life and always keep laughing. So he strengthened me. So this he strengthened me this way. He's saying the way he was describing, I was happy to listen all the things, and as if he was telling my own feelings. We left that peaceful scene of the meadows and woods and resumed our research of Oliver Lutkins. We could not find him. At last Bill Corner, a friend of Lutkins, made him admit that he guessed Oliver gone out to his mother's farm 3 miles north. We drove out there and laying plains. So this way we skipped something about the lunch part. We have skipped. He had taken lunch there. While sitting lunch only, they are talking when he has got this lunch from his wife. Okay, so he got the money also for this lunch, and after taking the lunch they started moving again further in the further direction. And someone told now to him that if you are searching for Lutkins, now he will be available in mother's farmhouse, so he may be going there. So now they start. I know Oliver's mother, she's a terror. Now when mother's name came there, so then this hack driver, he told him, author, about the mother who was a terror. And she took a trunk out there for her once, and she almost took my skin off because she didn't treat it like a box of eggs. Where he started telling about the mother of the this man hack Lutkins. He's saying she's a terror, she's a violent lady. And once I also came face to face of the lady, and she even tried to beat me. So he told about the mother, and she's 9 feet tall, 4 feet thick, quick as a cat, and she can talk, surely can talk. I will bet Oliver heard that somebody is chasing, following, and he has gone to there to hide behind mother's skirts. So this hack driver, Bill, he told that maybe he has gone to his mother because his mother is a violent lady, and maybe he has come to know that you are searching, the lawyer is searching, someone is searching him for the summon, and he has gone to his mother for hiding. So we'll be able to get him there. But you would better let me do, boy. You may be great at literature and law, but you haven't real training in the swearing. He's saying, let's go there. We'll be able to get this man there. So we drove into poor farmyard. We were faced by enormous and cheerful old woman, and my guide bravely went up to her and said, remember me? I'm Bill Magnuson, the carter, the hackman. I want to find your son, Oliver. I don't know anything about Oliver, and I don't want to, she shouted. Now look here, we have had just about enough nonsense. This young man represents the court in the city, and we have a legal right to search all properties of this Oliver Lutkins. So this way he told him about that. Now I have I'm Bill. And when he introduced himself to this lady, to the mother of the Oliver Lutkins, I'm Bill, he's saying, and because we are searching here for Oliver, if you know, please call him. There's a man, gentleman, who wants to serve summon to him. This lady very patiently she listened, and author was feeling happy that he has given introduction what he wanted. Actually he has given introduction to the lady himself. So Bill made me sound very important. Bill made me. He introduced him in such a nice manner that author felt that he was a very important person. And the woman was also impressed. She retired into kitchen and she, without speaking, went to the kitchen. We followed. She seized an iron from the old-fashioned stove, marched on us shouting, "You search all you want to. If you don't mind getting burnt first," she shouted, and laughed at our frightened retreat. Now, when she went inside, she did not say. And what she did, she went in the kitchen, and there she got a hot iron from there. Hot iron, she came outside, and just because she was a violent, as he was told that she was a violent lady, and now they were afraid that she was having a hot iron in the hand, and they were afraid, and they moved back. So she let's get out here. She will murder us, Bill whispered. Outside, he said, "You see her smile? She was laughing at us." So Bill said, just Bill also tried to make him frightened that, "See, this lady will kill us. She's having a hot iron in his hand. So better we go out." And then outside, when he go, he is introducing again. He is telling him that, "Have you seen, this lady was laughing over us when we were frightened?" I agreed, and it was pretty disrespectful treatment. We did, however, search the house. And then because now he has to give the summons, and they need to search the house also. This lady had frightened them. They are out of the house, but they have to search this man. So what they did, since it was only one story house, Bill went around it, peeping inside all the indoors. We examined the barn and stable. We were reasonably certain that Lutkin was not there. It was nearly time for me to catch the afternoon train. Bill drove me to the station, and this way now he was try to help him, the author, to by finding him. They tried to peep into the window. They tried to search through the window, that was Latkin there or not inside the house, but there was no one. So on the other way to the city, I worried very little over my failures to find Lutkins. I was too busy thinking about Bill Magnuson. Really, I consider returning to New Mullion. So author was so impressed of Bill Magnuson that he wanted to return back to this place, New Mullion, to practice law. So when he was going back, they were not able to get him. They started there. Had to naturally go to city. And when he was going back, what was he thinking? He was thinking that he will come back to this New Mullion place. He will practice law here. And I had found Bill so deep and richly human. Might I not grow to love Fritz and Gustav and 100 other low-spoken, simple, wise neighbors? He said he thought that the people are so low-spoken here. They are simple. They are wise neighbors. And why should not I come to this place only and to practice law better in the city, because I'm just a clerk? So he wanted to return back to this place. I pictured an honest and happy life beyond the strict limits of universities and law firms. So this all planning was going on in his mind, that he will come back to this place and will start his practice of law there only in this village. I was excited. I have found a treasure. I had discovered a new way of life. But if I did not think much about Lutkins, the office did. I found them all upset. Next morning, the case was coming up to the court, and they had to have Lutkins. I was a shameful, useful fool. So this way, he returned back to city. And when judges and authorities, they asked him, were you able to give the summon? So he was not able to answer because he could not serve the summon, and he was now, his job was at risk. He was feeling that he was a useless fool who can't do anything, who can't do any job. So his job was at risk now. So that morning, my promising the legal career he was there, almost came to an end before it had begun. His career even hasn't started, but it was going to end now. He may have lost his job. The chief almost murdered me. He hinted that I might do at digging ditches, that he is a nonsense person, and better you go and dig the ditches instead of practice here as a clerk or as a lawyer. I was ordered back to New Millennium, and he was ordered that you go back to New Millennium. And this time a man was given to him who had worked with Lutkins. He knew this man Lutkins, and he was rather sorry because he would not prevent my loafing all over again the bill. So this man was given to him that you go with him. He identify Lutkins. He will help you out. So author, but he was feeling bad this time when he was going back, because he wanted to meet Bill He was impressed. He was his friend now. He wanted to meet him. He wanted to have the journey with him now again. But now this man was there and he won't be able to talk much with Bill. So now when he reached there at the station again, he goes back to New Mulliam. When the train arrived at the New Mulliam, Bill was now just a moment. So when he reached there at the station again, so it was again New Million place. He has come here, and now Bill was on the station platform near his cart. Strangely enough, that old Tigress Lutkin's mother was there, talking and laughing with Bill, not quarreling at all. So what he saw, he was very surprised to know something, that till now he has seen this lady, the fat long lady, who was a very violent lady, and Bill was standing with him, and this lady, she was talking, she was laughing with Bill, she was not quarreling at all. And earlier in the previous meeting, she was fighting, she tried to murder them from the train. With a hot train, she tried to attack over them. So he was very surprised when they both reached there. His friend, the author, who with the author there was a man. So Bill was very happy to that author was very happy to see Bill. He tried to introduce him with his friend. He said, see, this is the nice man. He spent a whole day with me, and he helped me out to search even Lutkins. He helped you hunt for Lutkins? Yes, he helped me a lot. So when the second person with the author, when he came to know that, are you sure he helped you to search Oliver Lutkins? He must have. He is Lutkin himself. He's saying, okay, he must have helped you. So it was a funny situation that he may have helped you because he's Lutkin, and why not Lutkin himself? He was helping you how to search himself only. He himself was along with you, and he was making you round and round in the whole city to search him. What really hurt me was that when I served the summon, Lutkin and his mother laughed at me. Though I were a bright boy of 7, with loving and kindness, they begged me to go with them to neighbor's house for a cup of tea. Now, the thing, he was not feeling bad that it was Lutkin himself, but the most bad thing what he felt was that his mother and Lutkins, they were laughing at him. They were laughing at him as if he was a small boy. He was a stupid boy. And when they offered him that you go with us to our neighbor's house for a cup of coffee, because you have met on that day to everyone, but you did not meet one of our neighbor. And when we told him about you, so he is eager to meet you. So they are making fun of him. They are mocking over him. I told them about you, and they are anxious to look at you, said Lutkins joyfully. They are about only folks in the town that missed seeing you yesterday. He's saying they are only left who could not see you. So this way they were making fun of him, and this was an embarrassing situation for an author, that someone was mocking over his situation. He was being befooled by some person, some criminal, who made fool of him. He could not identify him, and now he was mocking over his situation. Okay, that's the chapter. Thank you for listening.